Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on something we've all been through tests. But we're not just talking about memorizing facts or getting the right answers. We're going to dive deep into the blueprint of what actually makes a test good, fair, and, actually useful. So let's get right into it. I mean, seriously, think about it. Ever sat through a test that just felt completely pointless? Or maybe even unfair? I'm going to guess the answer is yes. We've all been there, staring at a question that seems like it came from another planet. That feeling of frustration, yeah, that's often a sign that the test itself is broken, not you. But here's the really cool part. It's not just a random feeling. Designing a quality test isn't some kind of dark art or magic. It's more like architecture. There's a blueprint, a set of solid principles you have to follow. And today, we're going to walk through that blueprint step by step. So first things first, we've got to lay the foundation. Just like a house, a good test needs a solid core architecture to stand on. And that comes down to what I call the big three. These are the absolute non-negotiable technical principles every single assessment needs. Yep, just three to start. But get this, if a test fails on even one of these, the whole thing can just fall apart. They are the absolute must-haves. Okay, principle number one is practicality. You can think of this as the ultimate reality check. It asks a really simple but crucial question. Can we actually pull this off in the real world? It's all about being realistic with what you've got. And those real-world limits come down to things like time, money, and resources. Is it going to cost a fortune? Will it take teachers forever and a day to grade? Do you need special tech or a huge staff that you just don't have? A test might be brilliant on paper, but if it's a nightmare to actually use, it's not practical. So, for example, a 10-hour one-on-one speaking exam for every single student might give you a ton of information, but it's completely impractical for a class of 30 kids. A well-designed 15-minute interview, though, now that could get you similar results without being a total logistical nightmare. That's practicality. All right, our second pillar is reliability. The best way to think about this one is like a good old bathroom scale. You want it to be reliable, right? If you step on it 3 times in a row, you expect to see the same weight every time. A reliable test is just like that. It gives you consistent, dependable results over and over. But that consistency can be surprisingly fragile. All sorts of things can mess with it. Maybe the student is having a bad day. They're tired or super anxious. Or maybe the person grading has some hidden biases. Even something as simple as unclear instructions or a badly written question can throw the results off and make the test unreliable. And that brings us to what might just be the most important principle of them all, validity. This is really the heart of the matter. It's simple. Does the test actually measure what it claims it's measuring? Are you testing someone's ability to speak Spanish, or are you just testing how well they can memorize a script? That's the core question of validity. And here is where it gets super interesting, because a test can be perfectly reliable, but still completely invalid. It can consistently give you the same result every time, but be consistently measuring the wrong thing. Think about it like this. A clock that's always exactly 10 minutes fast is super reliable, right? It consistently tells you the same wrong time. But it's not valid because it's not accurate. A good test, just like a good clock, has to be both. It needs to give you the right result every single time. And there's one more little layer to this. It's something called face validity. Basically, the test has to look and feel legitimate to the people taking it. If students think a test is stupid or irrelevant, guess what? Their motivation just tanks, and that can totally skew the results. So perception really matters. Okay, so we've got our foundation: practicality, reliability, and validity. Now let's build on top of that. Let's look at the 2 principles that are all about the human impact, the ones that connect the test to real people and the real world. So principle number 4 is authenticity. This is all about closing the gap between what you do in the classroom and what you do in real life. An authentic test asks you to do things that actually mirror real-world tasks. It's the answer to that age-old question from students. When are we ever going to use this? So for instance, filling in a blank on some random grammar worksheet? Not very authentic. How often do you do that in your daily life? But writing a professional email to a coworker to solve a real problem? Now that is an authentic task. It's something you might actually do. And that leads us to our 5th and final principle, washback. This is such a cool concept. Washback is basically the ripple effect a test has on everything else. See, tests don't just measure learning, they actually shape how teachers teach and what students focus on learning. And that ripple effect can be good or bad. We've all heard of teaching to the test. That's negative washback. It's when learning becomes all about memorizing facts and learning tricks just to pass. But positive washback? That's when a really well-designed test actually encourages teachers to focus on real skills and motivates students to get genuinely good at something. The test itself makes the learning better. So there you have it. Those are the 5 core principles. Now let's put our whole blueprint together and see what a truly great assessment looks like when all of these pieces click into place. And here it is, the complete checklist. You ask yourself, is it practical? Is it reliable? Is it valid? Does it measure the right thing? Is it authentic? And finally, does it create positive washback? When a test can say yes to all 5, you don't just have a test, you have a powerful tool for learning. Because at the end of the day, a great test isn't just about sorting who's right and who's wrong. It's about creating an experience that's fair, that's meaningful, and that actually motivates everybody, students and teachers alike, to go deeper and do better. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have the blueprint, whether you're a student getting ready for an exam or a teacher designing one, how are you going to look at your next test? I bet it'll be a little different.